So, welcome to another video. I hope you all had a good Christmas. I hope it was all right. You survived. Yeah! But now I feel like we're in a new phase of all of this. In Scotland on Boxing Day we go into lockdown again for another 3 weeks. We have done many lockdowns, many forms of it, and now we're back in a pretty strict one. So I think, you know, it's tough. Most of us haven't ever experienced having such long periods without being able to just freely see our friends, see our family. It's such a tough one, and I know we're in such different boats with it. Some of you might be experiencing long-term relationships, or you might be stuck somewhere and you can't see your family and friends. You might have had to spend Christmas on your own. You know, there's so many different things that people are going through. But the one thing we can say is that everybody, I imagine, is experiencing loneliness to some degree and are on their own more often. So I thought today I'd make a video on dealing with being on your own more than usual. I felt lonely on and off throughout my life. Even when I've been in big groups of people that I thought I had liked at the time, I felt quite lonely, or even being in actual okay scenarios with people, I felt lonely. Loneliness is a really hard emotion. It's just a bit empty and it's just a bit quiet and it's hard. It's a really hard one. So I really hope that some of these things I'm going to talk about today can help you a little bit, at least to know that you're not on your own with your loneliness. My first tip is to accept that you're lonely and admit that you're lonely. I think it's one of those things, I don't know what it is, that makes it hard to talk about loneliness. I don't know if it's embarrassment or fear of rejection or not wanting to appear like we don't have friends or people that love us, and I don't know what it is around that. It's a really strange one, but I know that I find being lonely hard to talk about. And I think it also has to do with my age. I know that there's people that think like people in their 20s can't be lonely. I think they definitely can, and I think especially with everything that's going on, they definitely can. And I just find it's a really hard thing to admit, and I find admitting that I'm anxious a lot more easy than admitting that I'm lonely. So I think the first thing is to admit to myself that's how I'm feeling, and kind of accept that that's how I'm feeling, and know that it's a very valid and normal thing to be feeling. It really does help to, and when I say accept it, it doesn't mean, okay, I've just accepted this is the way I am now, this is the way I feel. I just mean accepting that that's the emotion that you're feeling, and that it doesn't make you, it doesn't mean you don't have any friends, doesn't mean you're not loved. It just means that that is the emotion that you're experiencing, whether you're around loads of people or you're not around anybody. That is the emotion you're experiencing, and that is a very okay emotion to be experiencing. My next one is to get in touch with your interests. I think this is getting harder and harder as the various pandemics, lockdowns and things are progressing. I think at the beginning we all felt like, yeah, I'm totally gonna like learn how to play guitar, I'm gonna like do all these Zooms with people, I'm gonna learn all these new things, and I'm gonna get in touch with myself. And I think the more that time's going on, the more it's hard to find that motivation. I think other people motivate us, being in different spaces motivates us. But I don't know if anyone else felt like this or if it was just me, but see, when lockdown ended, I remember thinking there was so much more I wanted to do, and there was so many more things I could have done. And I think sometimes it takes for us to get to a really tough part. It takes for us to get to a really lonely part in order for us to kind of get to our creative part. And that's just the way sometimes things work, and it's okay if that doesn't happen. It's not the way it's meant to happen or anything like that. But sometimes I find that when I'm feeling really lonely, really upset, and I've talked to friends about this and they've kind of felt the same, it kind of inspires me to get into what I really want to be doing, whether it's YouTube videos or creating things or making up new things or making a new business. It sometimes does reconnect me with that because I want to get into something that takes my mind off things. So if that's the place that you feel like you're in, you feel like, yeah, I could actually give that thing a go and that could be something really great, get back into that. But like I said, motivation is hard to come by right now, and it's also okay if you're just exhausted. I went through that a couple of weeks ago when I was so exhausted I just didn't really know what to do with myself. But if you are able to get more into something that makes you inspired and happy and content, then definitely grab it as much as you can. Even if it's something really uncool that you don't really want to tell anyone else about, you don't have to tell anyone else about it, just do it. The third thing is, we are in a pandemic, and the amount of times when you feel lonely, you genuinely do feel like nobody else kind of feels this way, and everyone else has that person, and everyone else has things that make them not lonely, whether it's children, a family, friends, their parents, whoever it is. We kind of look outward when we're lonely and see, especially on social media, that other people have these units that you don't have. And I just want to remind everybody, we are in a pandemic. It is the number one feeling that all of us are feeling. Even people that aren't wanting to talk about their loneliness. And maybe there are some people that are not feeling lonely, and that's great. But for the majority of us, loneliness is a feeling that we are all feeling. And no matter how much your loneliness is telling you, you are the only one that has nobody, and you're the only one that isn't loved or isn't cared for, or all of these things it's telling you, it is absolutely not true. Like I said at the beginning, this is probably the most alone most of us have ever been. And actually, it's been really helpful when I've said to my partner, I'm feeling really lonely, I'm feeling like just totally on my own. And for him to be like, remember, we are in a pandemic. And I think the more we get into this pandemic, the more we've experienced of it, the more it starts to feel like normal life. And that's just what happens. We're so adaptable that we've kind of adapted to this, and this just feels like our normal life. But remember, this isn't our normal life. This time last year, we were probably having Christmas parties, or we were seeing people more. Even if you feel like, oh, I don't even feel like I was having Christmas parties last year, you probably were doing things that aren't the same things that you're doing now. So just try and remember every time you're feeling lonely, this isn't a normal situation. This is not normal. And after a while, after this pandemic, we probably will still feel lonely, we probably will still have issues, we will all still have probably a little bit of trauma from what we've all just experienced. But the one thing we will be is we'll be together more. The next one is to practice valuing your own opinion and valuing yourself. I know that when I do something, whether it's, for example, the other day I got a job interview at a really amazing place, and I was really excited about it, and I was like, I can't believe I've got this job interview, like that's amazing, and like I was really proud of myself for getting it, and I never got the job, which is another story. I was quite upset about it, but it was fine, and it just obviously wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. But when I got the job interview, instead of sitting with it and being like, I got that, that's really amazing that I got that job interview, and my CV must have been really good, and I'm really proud of myself, and I'm just really glad that's happened, the first thing I did was tell people. I think the reason I was telling people was because I wanted them to be proud of me. Nope. I'm gonna have to take my cat to pee. You know where the litter box is? Come on. I'm back. It was a poop, and she's gone to the litter tray now, so that's great. The more I started to think about that job, the more I started to think, did I want that job? Or did I want everyone to be proud of me and to think I was clever? I know I'm an intelligent person, and my intelligence isn't necessarily academic, although I'm sure if I had the opportunity to be academic, I could do that too. I have a lot of stuff that I believe about myself, and then I talk to other people and I maybe don't believe in that as much anymore. When I realised that, and when I didn't get the job, I realised I don't think I did want that job, and I think I was just looking for people to be proud of me and to think, oh, she has a real job now. And I think when we're feeling lonely, this is a great time, when we're on our own more, to start valuing our own opinions about things and rethinking, really thinking about what it is we want and what it is we believe about ourselves, because other people can be really difficult and can have opinions that we feel we need to value more than our own about many different things, especially about ourselves. And I just think when you're on your own and we have more time to think and we have less time to be around other people that are pushing their opinions on us, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm basically trying to say we have more time now to value our own opinions and to follow them and see where it takes us. My next one is to look at the good parts of being on your own. There are so many good things about being on your own, and I am somebody that needs my own space and that really loves my own space. I obviously live on my own. Have you done your poop? I obviously live on my own, and I have done for a few years now, and I love living on my own. And the reasons for that are, I love being in my own bed and being able to sleep very, very well. I love being able to just do whatever I want whenever I want and not think about or ask other people or anything like that. I love being able to have a self-talk with myself that I don't think I would have had if I hadn't been on my own for so long. I know when I'm starting to feel anxious, I know what it is I need to calm down, and that could be getting older, but I think a lot of it's because I've been on my own for so long. I like being able to have projects or things that I like to do creatively that I can do and have plenty of space and time for. There are so many things I like about being by myself. And there are loads of YouTube videos that have helped me see that. I will leave some of them down below to people that have made videos about being on their own, and they've been really inspiring and really nice. So if this is your first time kind of being on your own, I'm going to leave those resources for you, and hopefully you can find some solace in the things that I've been saying. The last thing I want to say is, actually, if you're feeling lonely, that feeling is horrible, and I know there's been a lot of positive things in here, and I hope that some of those positive things can help. But if you're just feeling lonely and it's just really horrible, and it's that horrible feeling you don't really know what to do with, and you're feeling a bit stuck with it, the best thing to do with emotions that are hard and horrible is to sit with them and to not fight them. The more we try and fight these emotions and say they're wrong and try and turn those lonely emotions into happy emotions, I think the harder it is to kind of overcome those emotions and start getting back to a place where you want to be in. You don't need to have learned a lesson about being on your own. You don't need to have had this big epiphany that means now you are more enlightened and can spend all your time by yourself and be totally happy. That's not realistic. It's not going to happen. That's definitely not what has happened to me. I feel very lonely a lot of the time, and it's very sad and very scary and very weird. But this year is weird, and I'm sending you all love and hoping that there's some parts of your days that have bits of joy and bits of comfort. And yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.